Okay, trig functions and quadrantals. So trig functions, kind of what we were doing already this last lesson, 3.5, and we're adding quadrantals. Okay, so what are quadrantals? I'm going to put them in here. If this is a, let's say these are the endpoints of our unit circle. This is 0 or 2 pi, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Okay, ordered pairs. If it's a unit circle, do you agree that this is a measurement, a unit of 1? This has a unit of 1. This is a unit of 1, and this is a unit of 1 because they're all radii. Do you see that? It's a radii for the radius, 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 radius. All right. With that being said, what are these ordered pairs? Here, this would be what? 1, comma, 0. This one up here would be what? 0, comma, 1. The one over here at pi, I went left 1, so that would be -1, 0. And down here would be 0, -1. All right, are we good? Yes, and this is just a reminder, cosine theta, sine theta, and tangent of theta. We've said this, we wrote this, so this part is review. Cosine is x or y? X. Sine is x or y? Y. And tangent is x over y or y over x? Y over x. Okay, got it? All right. Find the value of, I'm just going to put find the value. I'm going to put in parentheses here, evaluate, because I had kids not sure what that meant. It's the same thing. On the quiz, it has evaluate, and they were stuck. What do I do? It's exactly what we've been doing. Okay. Number 1. Sine of pi over 2. Write it down. Sine of pi over 2. All right, sine is x or y? Sine is y. Pi over 2 is here, so is it 0 or is it 1? 1. 1 is your answer. You're done with that problem. Yep. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Number 2, tangent of 180 degrees. This is 180. Tangent is y over x, so -1 over 0 or 0 over -1? And what is 0 over -1 equal? 0. So your answer is 0. Am I going too fast? We're good. Number 3, tangent of 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2 is here. Tangent is y over x. -1 over 0 or 0 over -1? Now, is there a difference between 0 over 1 or 0 over -1 versus -1 over 0? Yes, this one here is what? Undefined, no solution, undefined. It's mathematically impossible to divide by 0. Okay, number 4. Cosecant of 3 pi over 2. So when you're dealing with reciprocals, do you flip this fraction or the answer? The answer. So 3 pi over 2 is just regular 3 pi over 2. Cosecant's the reciprocal of what? Sine, right? So which one's sine in this ordered pair? So the reciprocal of -1 is still -1. Yes? 5, secant of 3 pi over 2. Are we at the same place? Are we still at 3 pi over 2? Okay, but this time it's secant, and secant's the reciprocal of what? Cosine, and cosine is what? 0, the x, 0. What's the reciprocal of 0? 0 over 1, think of it that way. The reciprocal of that equals what? Which is 1 over 0 is undefined. Okay, I'll write that again. Cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. And the reciprocal of 0 is not 0, it's not 1, it's undefined. Why? Because 0 over 1, when you flip it, is 1 over 0, and that is undefined. Make sense? Number 6. Do you guys remember that last year?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. No. Tangent. Oh, maybe not, because you guys didn't deal with the reciprocal functions last year. Okay. Tangent of negative 2 pi. Negative 2 pi is going in this direction. Do I end up in the exact same spot as 2 pi?
Yes.
Yeah. Tangent is y over x, so is this one 0 or undefined? 0. Do you guys see that it's 0? 0, where is it at? 0 over 1 is 0.
So if it's negative 2 pi though, do you keep the negative?
No.
0?
No. Because when you do the negative 2 pi, it just ends you up in the exact same spot as positive 2 pi. They're coterminal angles, so that negative doesn't do anything for you as far as give you a negative answer. No. Okay. Number 7. Cotangent of 90 degrees. Okay, cotangent's the reciprocal of what? Of tangent? If tangent's y over x, cotangent would be what? X over y. Do you see that? Y over x, x over y. So we go to 90. Where's 90? And instead of 1 over 0, we're going to have 0 over 1, which equals 0. I do want you to think about that. What if I wrote it this way? Tangent of 90. What is tangent of 90? Undefined. So in this case, what's the reciprocal of undefined? 0. What's the reciprocal of 0? Undefined. All right, any questions before I move on to the last piece? Okay. Draw, and you will have some of these draw on your homework tonight. Draw, then find sine, cosine, and tangent. And I do expect to see your drawings, and I'll show you what I expect. Number 1, theta equals 120 degrees. Okay, so in the space you're given on your homework, you'll draw this. It's positive, so it's going in this direction. 0, 90, 180. Which quadrant is 120 in? Okay, and how far from 180 is 120? So my reference angle is 60. Do you see that? This here is 120, but when I draw my triangle like this, that is 60. Yes or no? All right. So sine, cosine, and tangent, even though the angle is 120, can I use 60 as my reference angle? The only thing I'll have to remember is all students take calculus. So I'm going to use the finger one. 60 degrees is this finger here, yes or no? Yes, I'll do x first, even though I wrote it second. X is what over root 2? I'm sorry, what over 2? 1, so 1 over 2. And sine is what over 2? Root 3 over 2. And tangent is y over x. So I'm going to do it like this. Y over x, what does that give us? Root 3 over 1, or just root 3? Now, if I stopped here, I'm not done. I'm going to put in my signs. Before I finish, does everyone see how I got this? And if you don't like the hand trick, can you use your unit circle? Yes, 120, cosine, sine, cosine, sine. Now my signs are off, so we do have to address that. All students take calculus. In second quadrant, what's the only thing that's positive? So what does it mean about cosine and tangent? They are negative. Got it? Does that make sense? Okay. Number 2. Theta equals negative 330. Degrees. Which direction am I going for this one? The opposite direction. So this is negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360. Which quadrant will I be in? 1. And how far is 330 from 360?
30 degrees.
So is 30 degrees my reference angle? Yes. All right, so again, it's going this way. You draw your arrow to show it's in the negative direction. Technically, the angle I'm working with is negative 330, but can I use 30 as the reference angle? So sine, cosine, and tangent of negative 330 degrees. All right. And I will use my all students take calculus. What's nice about quadrant 1? Everything's positive. All right, what is this? Our reference angle is 30. That's this one here. Cosine is the x. So what do I have? Square root of 3 over 2. Sine is the y, and what do I have? 1/2. And tangent is y over x. Do you see that? Y over x. So what is that? 1 over root 3. And none of them are negative because it's all quadrant 1. So kids will say, well, then angle's negative. It doesn't matter that the angle's negative because that negative angle put me back in quadrant 1. Does that make sense? Okay, number 3. Theta equals 15 pi over 4. What the heck? Is this bigger than 2 pi or smaller than 2 pi? How can we tell if this is 2 pi? Did I say big or smaller than, did I say 2 pi?
Yeah.
Okay. If this is 2 pi, it's what over 4? 8. So is it bigger than 8/4? Okay. What 2 pi, this is 2 pi. What would 4 pi be? 16 over 4. So 2 pi, 4 pi, would I end up in the same spot? Yeah? So where is 15 pi over 4? Right before, which is quadrant 4. And we are going to put the arrows. So here is all the way around one time for the 8 pi over 4 or 2 pi, and then going around again and stopping right here, and that is the 15 pi over 4. Okay.
Can you explain that again?
You can, what you could do, do you remember earlier I was saying 360 minus 30, 360 minus 60? You could do 360, which is 2 pi, take away 15 pi over 4, and find a common denominator. What's my common denominator? 4, so this is, what's 8 pi over 4, take away 15 pi over 4? Or the other way around, sorry. What's 15 pi over 4, take away? What is it? Take away, and what did I have here? What was I taking away? 8 pi over 4. And you said that subtracts to what? 7 pi over 4. And 7 pi over 4 is right here in quadrant 4. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Or you can think of it as 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4. Or you can really count from the 15ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Do I end up there? Yes? All right. So, with that being said, it depends on how you want to think about it. There's a variety of ways. I've shown you 3. We're going to do sine, cosine, and tangent of 15 pi over 4. Without really doing any work, what is our reference angle?
45.
How can we tell it's 45? Because of the way it is. The denominator is 4. All right. So we don't really use the hand trick because we should know for 45, sine and cosine are always the same. And what are they? 1 over root 2 or root 2 over 2, depending on how you write yours. And tangent is always what? 1. What's the only thing I have to do? Okay, what's the only thing positive in quadrant 4? Quadrant 4 is cosine, so positive, which means sine is negative and tangent's negative. Got it? Questions? All right, last one. Theta equals 12 pi. Okay, I'm going to draw a few of them, and then we're going to see if we can figure out the pattern. Do you guys agree this is pi, this is 2 pi? So 1 pi, 2 pi. If I went back around, this would be 3 pi. This would be 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, and I'm going to stop here. Is that enough to figure out where 12 pi is going to be? Now, let's say this was 15 pi. Where would I be, the 0 or the 180? 12 pi is going to be where, the 0 or the 180? 0. Now, the only thing is you do have to show all your revolutions around. So, there's 2 pi, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep. I know. Make it a small one in your homework because it has to fit on there. All right. So, sine, cosine, and tangent of 12 pi. What is my reference angle? 0. And you could say 2 pi because 0 and 2 pi are those the same thing? Is that a quadrantal?
Yes.
Yes, the quadrantal looks like this. What is that? 1, 0? Okay, so what is sine? 1 or 0? 0. What is cosine? 1. And tangent is y over x? 0. All right, questions? We're good? Make sense? Okay, what is on the quiz today? It's a mini quiz. It's like 5 questions, and when I gave it to my morning class, let me turn this off.